This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. Shalom, shalom, Akim. Before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakodash. All right. I want to give double honor to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, I'm the brother Gabaria Allah, coming at you with another lesson. All right, and today's lesson is going to be based off this article you see before you. Okay, entitled, Russia Takes More Land, Declares Peace Deal is Dead. America Must Now Prepare for the Prospect of War. This was uploaded today, May 27th, 2025, on a Tuesday. It says, Russia forces have taken 4 border villages in Ukraine's northeast Sumy region, a local official said Tuesday, days after Russian President Vladimir Putin said he had issued an order to establish a buffer zone along the border. Sumy borders Russia's Kursk region, where a surprise Ukraine incursion last year captured a pocket of land in the first occupation of Russian territory since World War II. Creating a buffer zone could help Russia prevent further Ukrainian cross-border attacks there. Meanwhile, a Russian bombing campaign that had escalated in recent days slowed overnight as far fewer Russian drones targeted Ukrainian towers and cities. Moscow's invasion has shown no signs of stopping despite months of intense U.S.-led efforts to secure a ceasefire and traction for peace talks. Since Russia and Ukraine delegations met in Turkey earlier this month for their first direct talks in 3 years, a large prisoner exchange has been the only tangible outcome, but negotiations have brought no significant breakthrough. It says, meanwhile, the Russian press has declared Donald Trump's peace deal is dying a slow death as a key ally of Vladimir Putin mocked Western ceasefire plans by posting a map showing almost all of Ukraine occupied by Kremlin forces. All right. So the reason why I opened up with the scripture, Jeremiah 51, okay, is because we all understand that Magog, being Russia, is going to be used to fire back at America, okay, at Babylon. Eventually, Ukraine and these other nations are going to turn on Babylon, okay? Right now, we don't see it. Right now, you can't really tell. You know, right now, they're making it seem like America is the one trying to make peace, when in reality, that's far from the reality, okay? That's far from the truth, all right? So I'm going to open up with Jeremiah 51 again. It reads, Thus saith the Lord power, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I will rise up against Babylon, and set against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Right, okay, in the day of trouble, they're going to be against them round about. What does that mean? It's going to tell you in verse 3. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up in his bright, it says, bright and line, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Okay, talking about Babylon. So Babylon is going to be destroyed by them arrows. Okay, them arrows being thermonuclear destruction. Okay, them nukes. All right, if you jump down, you know which. Actually, I'll do that. Let me jump down. But let me actually jump down to verse 7 first. Let me read verse 7, Jeremiah 51 and 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's Yahweh hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Right? Okay, because Babylon sold the idea of having peace. Okay, Babylon right now is selling the deal of having peace. Okay, America wants all these nations to feel like, okay, Babylon may be just everybody's allies. Okay, maybe Babylon has been everybody's allies, but soon they're gonna realize there's a reason why America is many trillions in debt. Okay, America is hundreds of trillion of money in debt. Okay, why is that? Because of broken treaties, broken promises. America's lending out shit that they can't even afford. Okay, and now who's responsible for the money? Okay, who's responsible for paying off that debt? The U.S. citizens. Why? Because the government had fucked up the money. All right, and now taxes are everything's gonna skyrocket high. All right, scriptures say a nation divided against itself cannot stand. Okay, because sooner or later, the American citizen, the average American citizen is gonna be against Babylon. So America is gonna deteriorate from the inside out, and then from the outside, these nukes are gonna get thrown at America, and all of Babylon is gonna be destroyed. Okay, why? Because there had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. It says, verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? Babylon's judgment has reached the heavens. Okay, now I'm gonna read more of this article, but I'm gonna scroll down to where they talk about America's plan for war. All right, it says, I'm gonna jump down a little bit. It says, he added that the peace in the Moscoviks Komsomolets said the Trump factor was significant and strong enough to get Moscow and Kyiv the negotiation table. But judging by the current picture, it feels like Trump's peace plan is dying a slow but necessarily painful death. The newspaper continued, what will happen when these death throes become so obvious that even the chronically optimistic U.S. president cannot ignore them is a big question. With Russia's growing alliance with China, Iran, and North Korea, Putin could be emboldened to test NATO's resolve potentially in the Baltics. The U.S. military's readiness gaps, outdated infrastructure, a striking fighter jet fleet, and a smaller navy compared to China's raise concerns about deterring a nuclear-armed Russia with 5,889 warheads. Additionally, fears persist that a ceasefire would allow to regroup for future aggression necessitating U.S. military buildup to counter this threat. All right, so pretty much, Russia's allies, okay, with these other nations, China, these other nations are getting angry. All right, and NATO and the EU is gonna get angry as well. Okay, why is that? Because the U.S. is already making bad deals with all these nations. China's already mad at the U.S. Russia's mad at the U.S. Name a country that's not mad at the U.S. right now. Okay, you can't do it. All nations are mad. All nations are angry. Okay, Mexico. Okay, Canada. All right, the only two nations that are are connected in the same land. Okay, America has so proudful that it stroked tariffs on them. Okay, but guess what? You're not gonna be healed, man. Okay, so I'm gonna jump down. Jeremiah 51:11, and it's gonna be all over the place. So lucky about that. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields as the Lord Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the kings of Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. Right, okay, the Lord wants to destroy America. The Lord is eager to destroy America. All right. So okay, let me just grab this and then we can close out. I do got a busy Slovakia. I believe it's in Jeremiah 50 or 51. Yeah, Jeremiah 50 and 14. Slovakia. I'm all the way up in 50. It says, yeah, 50 and 14. Slovakia. Jeremiah 50. Then we can close out. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon. Around about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Salakia, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Now I'm going to read that in the NLT. It says, yes, prepare to attack Babylon. All your surrounding nations, lay your archers, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh. Shout war cries against her from every side. Look, she surrenders. Her walls have fallen. It is the Lord's Yahweh's vengeance. So take vengeance on her. Do to her as she has done to others. Right? And America has done nothing but wickedness to others. So nothing but wickedness is going to be given unto America. All right? So yes, these are the nations are angry at America. These are the nations are going to get payback to America. All right? Lord willing was edifying. Lord willing, to brothers it was uplifting. We give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hashai. We almost out of here.